Hey guys, welcome to another video review. This is the last painted resin statue of J. Scott Campbell's Fairy Tale Fantasies statues. This one is Little Red Riding Hood. Again, it's inspired by J. Scott Campbell's artwork. I don't believe this one is actually from the calendar. It's the same character from the calendar, but in a pretty unique pose. It might be from one of the comic books that was inspired from that line. But in any case, this is definitely J. Scott Campbell style. It's produced from the same person who did all the other ones. And this is sculpted by Roberto Von Behr and painted by John Allred. This is a lot of work. It was a very, very large kit. Let's get a little bit closer. Let's take a look. Play with her a little bit. Play with the actual base. Take a look at this. So when I first got this, it was just massive. And the casting was, it was okay. For those of you maybe who don't really understand the significance of that, if you have a casting that is really clean, really, really nice, high quality, then you don't have to clean it up as well. And by cleaning up, I mean you have to sort of wash it, treat it, you have to look at the material, you have to fill in all these little tiny pinholes. So there's a lot of stuff you have to do to get the actual resin parts ready to fit together, to be put together, and then the seam lines have to be sanded down, and it's a lot of work, and it's not very exciting work. It's sort of monotonous, thankless work, and the painting part actually is the fun part. So when I looked at the casting for this one, I was like, ooh, it's going to be a lot of work. And luckily, John Allred was the guy who decided to do it. And I can't say enough things about John Allred. That guy is just a machine. So professional, so detail-oriented. He takes on these tasks, and as a surgeon, I really respect sort of his ability or his take on things, which is he doesn't really ever shy away from a challenge. He takes it on, and no matter how hard it is, he just works at it. He breaks it down into the steps, he does it. There's no fear, there's nothing, there's no moaning or complaining. He sets a time and he sticks with it and he just attacks it. And I think he did this entire thing in seriously, I think 2 weeks, which is insane when you actually look at where this thing started and the work that was required to get all of that put together. So I'm really, really appreciative of, again, the time he took to do it. There are a lot of people out there who just sort of looked at all of this and they just said, I wish I could, but I just can't. I don't have the time to put into it. The casting's too rough. It's just way too much way too much prep time. I don't really want to do it. And so, to John's credit, in all the years I've known him, I think over 10 years now, and all the projects he's done with me and done for me, he's never ever said no. He might take a little bit longer, he might charge a little bit more, but he's never ever said, I can't. That's something that, again, it means a lot to me, especially with some of the things I've asked him to do. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at her and the composition of the piece. So this is, again, sort of the Little Red Riding Hood from the point of view of J. Scott Campbell. She's basically, in this case, in this version, I guess, the fairy tale, she's in control of the wolves. So she's walking through the forest with her little basket of goodies. She's got her iconic red hood on. She's got her little, I don't know what you call this, like corset or whatever you call this thing, corset, skirt, midriff bared, and then she has these two wolves, on her left hand, connected with chains to the collar. So this is a pretty badass looking Little Red Riding Hood, actually. She definitely doesn't seem like a damsel in distress. So let's start getting a little bit closer. This is a massive log as part of the base. So the base is obviously the floor of the forest. You can kind of see the mud, the rocks, a little bit of the vegetation here, okay? And then in the middle of the floor, you have this massive log right here, okay? And so John did a great job sort of giving it the little colorations. He put in little bits of vegetation and moss and things like that on here. A great paint job on the texturing of the wood. Let me move this over here a little bit so we have enough room. So here's the rock again with a little tiny vegetation, maybe a mushroom or something like that growing there. So great texturing on the base itself between the rock, the vegetation. Here he actually added some fake plants, some leaves to give a little bit of color. So the base is very kind of rich and vibrant. Really love that. And then here's Little Red Riding Hood, basically with 1 foot on the log. And then next to her are the wolves. So let's look at the wolves now and pay a little bit of attention there. So there's 2 colors. One is sort of a grayish brown, and the other one is black. Let me go down here. I mean, these wolves look mean. They look like they mean business, right? The eyes are nice and red. Let me see if I can just focus a little bit. So that looks nice. So now you can see that right here. You can see sort of the beautiful sculpt of Roberto's work, all the little hair, the details on the feet. So it looks great. Deeper in, you can't really see it, but I'm going to try to point it out. So right here where my finger is, that's actually clear resin, which John used to kind of show a little pool of muddy water that they're stepping over. So it's a really nice touch. Hopefully you can see it a little bit better from here. So those are nice little details that just kind of add to the piece. So we have the black wolf here, and then she's, her hand is on the back, just sort of controlling him, petting him a little bit. There you go. Put my hand as you can see the detail, the fangs. So here he is. So this one wolf is facing off to her right. And then we have the other one right here. This is the gray one. Again, gorgeous. He's off to her left. Very nice. And they're both held together by pins. This wolf held together by this pin right here. Hopefully you can see it right there. I purposely jutted out a little bit. This thing sinks a little bit deep, and so if you don't push it out, this entire wolf basically is not very steady. But with this thing jutted out, it's rock solid. And that's the trick to basically keeping him in place. Before, he kept falling over this way, and I just didn't understand why that was. And I realized it's the pin had actually gotten a little bit loose. So here's the back. Here she is with her hood. Let me try to look a little bit below. You can actually see her back right there, a little short skirt. And then when I flash, you'll be able to see that detail underneath there. So here's the little bag of goodies, the handkerchief overlying it. You can see the texturing here. There's her belt. Now let's get to Little Red Riding Hood herself. Legs. Hands. Here's some of the detail of her leather gloves all the way up. Here's her bra with the gold edge, the corset. This is actually a real metal chain. And then it goes into the hands like this, so she's holding it. Blonde hair, blue eyes. There's a little French beauty mark, I think, on the left upper cheek. Nice makeup effects on the lips. Here again is the chain, one chain to each wolf. The collar, the collar. And then pulling back, you can kind of see the entire composition of the piece. Slowly turn it. So yeah, this is a very, very ambitious piece. It's gonna take a long time to build, a lot of work. And I think John just did an amazing job putting all of that together. Really happy with it. And the colors all just sort of blend. It pops really nicely. The red of the hood, the blonde hair, the chains, each wolf has a distinct color, the base very, very lush. And it all just kind of comes together beautifully. So again, really happy. This is Little Red Riding Hood, sculpted by Roberto Von Behr, painted by John Allred, based off of the art of J. Scott Campbell. It's a massive piece, centerpiece. And I'm going to now do some turnaround with the flash on so we can see a few more of the details and the shadows and stuff. Okay, so this is with flash on. Let's take a look here. So here you can see sort of the detailing, the moss at the bottom, the inside of the wood versus the outside. Here's the plants. Here's a little puddle of water. I'll try to show you right here that they're stepping over. Here's the wolf again. It's really remarkable. Here's the other wolf. It's beautiful. And here she is. It's always a little bit hard doing it with flash because we wash out again all the colors. But again, it's one way of just really showing off the detail of the sculpt at least. And again, you can see all the little details that you can't see before when everything's in shadow. Here's her face. You can see the eyes. Very nice. And let's see if I can get around her back underneath the cape. It's a little bit trickier with the phone. Bump it into the tail of the wolf here on that other side. Here you go. Here's the log details. Let's see if I can get a little bit close up. Is. And then back out. So you can appreciate the whole thing again. There you have it. Very impressive centerpiece. In person, huge, massive, and heavy. All these elements put together. You won't see many of her painted up. I think the only other one was actually by the producer himself, who is a pretty good painter. He can put together a mean kit. And so he did one version, and this is the one by John Allred, and I would love to see some more, but you know, these things just take so much time. There's so few of them out there. You won't see many of these. So I'm pretty happy and pretty proud to show her off and hope you enjoyed that. So until next time, take care.